Hi, Mark Cibrario from 5toolpt.com, bringing to you section 2 of the 10 stretches to avoid and what to do instead. Number 2, we're going to go through toe touches. So again, people are trying to improve their hamstring flexibility or range by doing the old toe touch exercise. Now, the toe touch is a screen. It's actually on one of my screens. That's all we're looking for, this as a screen where we should see that your hips have the ability to move back, you have the ability to hinge well, and that you can actually touch the ground. So it's a screen. It's something we're testing. Did you have the ability to do or not? We don't want to repeatedly go through that movement pattern because, again, it encourages flexion of our lumbar spine. So if you have any history of disc issues, right, it encourages that posterior disc bulge by continuing to flex your lumbar spine. And the ligaments overstretch, thus you get a less stable trunk and core. So what we want to do instead is hip hinging mechanics without flexion of the lumbar spine to actually improve our hamstring extensibility and activation through this pattern. So hip hinging is bowing, where we're softening our knees, we're chopping at the hips, right? And you should see that we get into our heels with our weight shift, right? And our spine remains long. Lumbar spine is long versus rounded. Thoracic spine, upper spine is extended versus rounded, and we'll add a reach of our hands forward and we'll pull our hips through. So it's as simple as that. Hip hinge, chop, reach hands out, tummy tight, long spine, pull your hips back through. Again, and through. That's the easy version. That's level 1. Level 2 is going to one leg. This is really where we see the most improvements, and again, get into a balance reaction. All right, get more loading through the hamstring, getting really ready for the art of the skill of running. So here we go. So we're going to go hands underneath chin, prayer position. I'm going to soften knee. I'm going to scale and lift my heel as high as the hip. I'm going to extend right arm out if I'm balancing on left foot, left hand back, and there is a straight, hopefully looking spine. Pull the hip back through. Again, hands here. I'm going to hip hinge, bow, extend, pull back through. Here's where you're probably going to need a little bit of a balance aid when you start. So go up to a fence, go up to a wall, place the hands on the wall, the arms a little bit bent. We don't have one here for shooting purposes, but you're going to be with me because you're going to be all over the place and know you need one. So hands on that fence, tip, right, brace, square the pelvis off to the ground, nice straight leg here, pull back through, let go of the fence and come back upright, okay? Hip hinge, fence, nice long spine, pull the hip back through, bingo. All right, that leads us into our next drill that we see, which is a dynamic version where you see people kicking, maybe skipping and kicking, and seeing gyrations of flexion once again. So flexion, as we know, right, stretches those ligaments, pushes that disc backwards, not stabilizing your trunk at all. When we sprint, stable trunk, okay? When we swing, stable trunk. When we throw, stable trunk. Where is there repeated flexion? There's not, right? So we want to encourage this to be a hoop and a cylinder that is stable. So when we do a leg kick, right, a standing variation of this, you can see that my spine stays long, my opposite hip stays strong. Turn this way. I'm only going to go as high as I can be stable. Bad? Good. Can I reach to my toes? I can. Can you? That depends on your mobility, all right, and your stability, okay, through your trunk, through your hip. So only go where it is that you can go and still be stable.